Hi, everybody. So I'm going to go live a little early here. I have to get my second computer set up. So hopefully people will be able to find me soon. So give me a minute here to get my other computer set up here. See if I can find myself. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes for it to pop on. Okay, well, let's see. I get in the right group. Online. Okay, so I think I'm alive. Hopefully everybody, oh, people are starting to find me. That's good. Just a second here. Give me just a second to get this turned. Let's see. Get this turned off. I had to try something new tonight. Facebook has yet again changed something. They want you to tell when you set up the event that if it's online, so the online is actually right in the event. So I hope that it works okay. Otherwise I'll download it and get it into the feed so that everybody can find it. I may not do this again, but this is the way they requested that I do this. So we'll see. Facebook likes to continually change things. So how is everybody tonight? Are you seeing my screen okay? Can everybody hear me? Yep, you can hear me okay. Awesome. So make sure when you come in that you say something so that I know you can hear me. You will not be able to see me tonight. You'll just be able to see my screen. So, but yeah, so this showed up instead of me, it's showing up in the feed, it showed up in the event. So we'll see if I do this again. This may not work as well. So I've been working on, I'll show you some of the things I've been working on today while we're waiting for a few people to come in. I have been, so here's the napkin. We're going to make this napkin tonight and digitize the design. And then, but today I've been working on some of the stuff for a class at the end of October. We're going to use the roll feeder on the scan and cut. And we're also going to use the new vinyl auto blade. They have a new vinyl auto blade. And we're going to use that. And I've been playing around cutting things that are really long. So I cut something that was about 24 inches long. So this is my first cut. And it's just a simple, it was a free design that came with the roll feeder. And it was just some flowers. And then you can continue to cut that. You can cut it over and over to make it longer if you want to. And they kind of nest together. So that was my first cut that I did with the new auto blade and the roll feeder. So I've been having fun playing with that. But then I got the Disney scan and cut a while back. And so there are some Disney roll feeder designs that come with it. So here is Mickey. I did Mickey. I thought he was awfully cute. And he's 36 inches long. And it was fun. It was a little different to weed something that large. I've never really done the weeding on something that big before, so it was interesting, but I was able to get it done. And so there's Mickey, and then I had, of course, to do Minnie as well. So here's Minnie Mouse. So she was a little more problematic, so we had a little trouble on the edges with that one. So I'm gonna see if I maybe didn't do a setting correctly. So anyway, so I've been playing with the roll feeder and doing some videos this afternoon about for the class on the 25th. That'll be October 25th. So we'll do that. And I'm going to have a couple of videos prior to the class. So we'll do, so I'm still working on those. But anyway, I've been playing with the roll feeder and the, like some of the designs that are on the Disney scan and cut, because I haven't really played with the roll feeder because there's a whole bunch of roll feeder designs on there. I was really surprised. I mean, there must be 20 or more. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them and they're all big, you know, like 36 inches or more long. So I thought it was really cute. So anyway, this is Minnie. So I did Minnie today. And I made a video. But tonight we're going to make napkins. Okay, so this was a design. This was a class that I adapted from a class that Kathy Quinn did. I bet you I did these napkins at least 10 years ago. And it was a really nice class because, you know, everybody likes, so many people like napkins, cloth napkins, and they really make your table look pretty. And they are simple to make, and it's something then that you can make for any season. You can make as many as you want, like if you want to make for a place setting of 8 or a 4 or whatever. So I really enjoyed doing this again because I hadn't done this design for a really long time. But the one thing, when I went to look through the papers that she had sent, the design was a very old one because this design was done, I mean, this class was done many years ago. So this little pumpkin, I really like the little pumpkin, and it sews out really nicely, was done in 2010. So I thought, well, what a perfect time to show everybody how to get these designs. And some of you that have had me help you get your PEP installed or like updated or whatever, many of you may have these designs. But I'm going to give you, and in that folder that I put up on the group, and I've had a lot of questions about that, so let's start with that first. On the group, this is Sessions on Software with Jan. You need to go to the Facebook group, Sessions on Software with Jan, and the very first post in the group, it's under announcements, has the Dropbox link to all the files that I have uploaded for this group. So you have to go to the group, Sessions on Software with Jan, then click on the link. It's in the and I put like a Dropbox logo up there so you can find it. It's in the very first post. Click on that link and it'll take you to where all the designs are. So the folder is called, I think it's called Fall Napkins, and then the date of today. So October 4th, 2020. Okay. So you can go download that entire folder. And in that folder are several things. So let me show you what are in that folder. A second here, let me get some of these things closed. Here we go. So in that folder, there is another folder called Free Monthly Designs, and that is all of the free monthly designs that have been in this software since 2009. It was the fall of 2009 when they started doing the free designs. So I have designs going all the way back to 2009 through October of 2020. So some of you may have some of these designs. Some of you may not have any of them. They may be, you know, you may not have all of them. You may have some of them. So make sure that you download this, and then I'm going to show you where to put this folder. So this folder that says Free Monthly Designs in here, I'm going to show you where to put it on your computer so that it will show up in the software, and that is what we're going to use tonight to make this design. So, and then I also gave you the C2S file and also the napkin, the actual napkin file that I made to sew it out with. With the C2S file, then, if you decide you want to make other seasonal napkins or other things, then you can just change it out. Instead of having to start over again, you could just change out the pumpkins for like bells or Santa Clauses for Christmas and so on. So anyway, that's what's in that folder. So the first thing we're going to talk about is this design, these free monthly designs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to this whole folder. I want the whole folder called Free Monthly Designs. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to copy that whole folder. Okay. Then I'm going to close this and get this out of our way. And this is where you need to put the folder so that it will show up in your software. When you go to, you're going to go to, I had somebody email me just a second here. Somebody text me and said they're having trouble finding the video. I'm just going to tell Denise, it's in the napkin event. See, I think it might be hard for people to find it. So I'm hoping, I may not do this again, guys, because Facebook wanted me to, and I thought maybe it'd be hard for people. So, okay, so I've got that copied. I went into where that folder was that I gave you, that with all those designs, free monthly designs. I right-clicked and I copied. Okay, then I'm going to go to this PC. I'm going to go to my computer or this PC. You can also use the little file folder at the bottom, usually on your taskbar. Do you need PEP? Yes, you do, Jean. These are all in C2S format. They might work in the free version. I'm not sure. I don't have the free version, so somebody can try putting them in their software. If they have the free version of Toolshed, they might work in there too. Okay, so what I'm doing is I clicked on the little folder at the bottom here, the File Explorer, and I need to go to this PC. So I'm going to go over here on the left, this PC, and then I want to go to my C drive. And this is like the hard drive on your computer. Then I'm going to go, if you notice in the C drive, there's a folder that's called Dime. So I'm going to double click on that. And inside of that folder, there is a folder that says Designs. And I'm going to double click on that one. Then I am going to right click in here and I'm going to paste. Now in my case, it's already here. So it's probably going to come up and tell me that I've already got it. So which it did. And I'm going to go ahead and replace the files. So I know that I have them all. And I'm going to click replace the files in the destination. And it's going to paste them into that folder that we just went to. So here in this folder, I have several folders because I have my free monthly designs. I have my block piecer designs. I have my fabric designer designs. I have my quilt embellisher designs. So I have several other things active on my computer. So these are all going to show up in my software now. Okay, so I wanted to give these to you because there are some awesome designs in here that you can use to incorporate into whatever you're making. So, and they sew out really well. And it's very simple to use them. So what we're going to do now, we've got that installed. So are there any questions about the installation of those designs? They need to be used through the software because they are in C2S format. Okay. If somebody has the free version of the Toolshed, the Toolshed, if you have the free version, try installing them and see if they come up. I don't know if they will because I do not have the free version. Jackie, yes and no. The old ones, Jackie asked if these are the free Floriani designs. Yes and no. Yes, the very old ones were Floriani designs. The newer ones are PEP or Dime designs, but they were the same company that made them all. So yes, the original ones from 2009 to 2014 were Floriani designs, the free designs. And then the designs since 2014 are the Dime designs. But they're all made by the same people, okay? So that's the answer to that. Okay, so now we're gonna open up our software. So let's open up Toolshed. And takes a second here. Okay. And the little, the little today screen shows up. And what I'm gonna do is create a new design. So I'm gonna click create a new design down here. Carolyn, these are not even PES files. These are C2S files, which are a working file. So I have now opened the software. I have clicked created a new design. I want to show you now how you can access these designs. So if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, there are little tabs down here. And if you hover your mouse over it, remember we've talked about the purchases tab before. And anything that you own will have a yellow check next to it. Okay? So anything that you own or have active on your computer will have a yellow check. And you can change from one software to another by clicking on the little polka dots and making that the default program. So in my case, Perfect Embroidery Pro is my default because that's normally what I want to open up. Okay, so that one is my default. So like if I wanted to go back to my block piecer, I could click on the little dots and I could make that my default. And then I would be in that program only. Okay. And I don't know, let me go to Toolshed here. I don't know if it'll let me see if anything, yeah, see, since I have Perfect Embroidery Pro, Toolshed really doesn't let me know if I can use these designs in there. So for somebody who only has the free version of Toolshed, if you put the designs in, let me know if you can use them, because I don't know. Okay. So I am in Perfect Embroidery Pro. That's the program I'm going to use tonight. And if you look then down here, we were talking about the purchases tab. There's several other tabs here. So the first tab is our sequence view. So when we get things up on the screen and we're working with things, this is the area that we look to see if we have, what order things are in, what colors they are, and so on, and what type of stitches they are, and that type of thing. So that's our sequence view. But if you look at the second tab, that one looks like a little book. And if I click on designs, then, and I'm going to pull this up a little bit better so you can see it. So it's bigger. So when I look here at designs, this is pulling from that folder that we were just in a few minutes ago, and see where it says free monthly designs? There's also a little X, or a little cross next there. And if I click on that, then underneath there are all the different months. So like here's August, and here's 2010, 11, whoops, sorry here. Got to get back here. 11, 12, 13, 14, and so on. And all the different months and all the years. And I know they started in like October or maybe October maybe, or maybe November of 2009. So they're all the way back to 2009. But here's all the months and all the years are in there. Okay. So that's where your designs are. I also have others here, of course. I have, let's go down, let's make that smaller. And then I have like my block piecer ones. I have my fabric designer. So that's where we were in that C drive, was in that folder. Somebody else just texted me. They must be having trouble finding us. So I'll make sure this doesn't work again. Oh, Pam just said the designs can be viewed in the free version. That's awesome, Pam. Thank you very much. Somebody had the free version and they just installed them. So that's awesome. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about the designs is that for those of you who had the old Floriani software and have since reactivated PEP, which is the same company, if you do not have the Pro version of the software anymore, you will not be able to get the free designs. Okay, so if you only had the embroidery suite, you will not be able to get the free designs anymore. So like when that little thing comes up, the My Today little screen, normally up here in the right hand corner was where the new designs were every month. So for those of you with the free version, you will no longer, or with the embroidery suite version, you will no longer see this. I can get the designs for you if you want them. I will be happy to get them to you. Okay, so you can call me, or you can stop in with a stick and I can give them to you. But you have all of them now through October of this year, because I just downloaded the October ones the other day. Okay, so there's your designs. Now, so the reason I wanted to do this is I had to give you a design that we're going to use tonight, because it was a very old one and you wouldn't have had it. So now we have that design. I'm going to pull this design tab down again. See how my cursor becomes an arrow here? And if I pull it down, it'll come down and be smaller again. So we're just going to make it a little smaller for right now. There we go. Okay, so let's make some napkins. This is a super easy, fun thing to do. So what I did is I started by setting up some grids on my screen so that I could tell how big things were. So to do that, I'm going to right-click on the upper ruler bar here, and I'm going to go down to Grid Settings. And then I'm going to make my spacing. I just want a grid on there. And I thought 1 inch would be good. It's a simple, simple thing to look at. So I just typed in 1 inch and 1 inch in the horizontal and the vertical. And then I clicked OK because it will show the lines because I always have that clicked like that. Okay, so here's my lines. So I have 1 inch lines on my screen, a grid. And so I was thinking, so when I get ready to do my napkin, I want to start by making a representation of my napkin. So my napkins happen to be originally, my original napkins I made all those years ago were 18-inch napkins. But these new ones that I did were actually 20-inch napkins. So what I'm going to do is let's make a napkin on the screen. We're not going to sew it out. We're just going to make a napkin so we know where things are going to fit. So to do that, I'm going to go up to my artwork tool, which is right here. It's the pencil and the circle and the square. I'm going to click on the little arrow right next to it, and I'm going to go down to rectangle. I'm just going to come down here. Now see, it's attached to my cursor. I'm going to put my mouse button down, and I'm just going to drag from the top left to the bottom right. Doesn't matter what size it is. I'm just going to drag a rectangle or a square. Okay. Now I want to select this square by clicking on my selection tool right up here at the top left. And then I have all my little selection boxes around here. And now I would like to go to the properties. I would like to go to the properties tab or the properties box, which is at the top now of our screen. Since this is selected, you can see that there are properties and it says it's artwork. So that's what we're using is artwork. I want to go to the transform tab. So I'm going to click the word transform. And I am going to deselect the maintain aspect ratio because I want to make my napkin a certain size. So I know what size I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the check mark and deselect maintain aspect ratio. So I can type in up here how big I want it to be. So my napkin was 20 by 20. So I'm just going to type in 20 by 20. And then I'm going to click apply. And as you can see, I can't see my apply button right now. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit so I can see the apply button. Well, we have a problem. Everything disappeared. So remember to take care of that, you go up to the top where it says 200% and you zoom to fit. And then I'll be able to see my square here. I would like my square to be centered in my workspace. So that really helps me a lot if so that I have I can understand where everything's fitting. So I want to make sure this is centered. So I'm going to right click on the ruler bar again up here. And I'm going to go down to center origin. And it's going to center my square in my workspace so that I have everything. I know where everything is. All right. Then my napkin, though, I want to put the design on the corner. So I thought it would be easier to look at it right side up. So I'm actually going to rotate my square so that it's on point so I can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the ruler bar up here, not the ruler bar, but the bar above, the toolbar, and I'm going to rotate it to the right, and I'm going to click it one time. And now my napkin is on point. So I can see it as I would like it to look when I've got it sewn out. Okay. Now, The one thing that I did notice, I'm going to go back up here to fit again. And the one thing that was easier for me, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in down here a little bit so you can see. I'm going to get my zoom tool and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to zoom into this point because we're worried about this point down here. It was a little difficult for me to figure out where to put my design without the point being on like one of my lines, because these lines, remember, were they're 1 inch grids. So I'm going to go ahead and you can see that my lower part of my tip of my napkin is actually just below a line. So I'm just going to actually take it, put my control key down, and I'm just going to bump it up with my little arrow keys, just so that it's right, the tip is right on a line, just to help me know how big it's going to be. Okay, so let's bring this back down again so I can see. And I'm going to go to fit again. So now the tip, the bottom tip of my napkin is right on a line, just so I have a better idea how far up or how far down I want to put my design. Okay. So is everybody following me so far? Is this making sense to everybody? So we just basically, this is an artwork. This is just a representation of our napkin. Okay. Anybody have any questions yet? Is everybody doing okay? If you send me some like thumbs ups and stuff, I know you're still hearing me okay. Because I can't, the typing doesn't come through very quickly. Okay. Good. So people are still hearing me all right. Good. Awesome. I'm seeing some thumbs ups and some, the little emojis come through really quick. Okay. So at this point, I'm ready to add a design. I want to add a design to my napkin, and I want to use that little pumpkin. And that little pumpkin was really cute. I used that all those years ago. And it is in, let's see, November of 2010. So I have to go up here. I have to go to my Designs tab, from my sequence view to my Designs tab. I'm going to click on the little X next to Designs, and then I'm going to go to the free monthly designs and click the little X. And then I'm going to go scroll down here until I get to November. See, there's December. Let's see, they're in alphabetical order. Here's November. So here's November. And then it was 2010. So I'm going to click on the folder that says November 2010. And then here are, and there were a bunch of really pretty designs in this one. There were some turkeys and there was some cornucopias. But I thought, well, that little pumpkin was really cute. So to use these designs, all you have to do is go hold your mouse button down, grab the design and pull it over to the workspace and let go. And then there's your design right in your design area already. So we got that. Now I want my design to be the lower edge of it. I kind of did some math and I kind of looked at it to see where I wanted it. And I want it 3 inches above the tip of the napkin. Okay, so let's zoom in. I'm going to get my zoom tool and we're going to zoom into this tip area so we can see. And I did not size the design. I left it the size it came in. It was a nice size. But I want it 3 inches. I want the bottom of it to be 3 inches above the tip. So remember, these were 1 inch squares. So I've got my design. There's 1 inch, 2 inches, and then 3 inches. So I'm going to put the bottom of the pumpkin 3 inches above the tip. And then I also want to center it horizontally. And I can do that because if you look at the little nodes, the little selection nodes, those are the center of the design. So I can take my control key and my arrow keys on my keyboard and I can move it over a little bit. I just need to move it up just a little bit, I think, and move it over so that it is centered horizontally and it is 1, 2, 3 inches above the tip of the napkin. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. But now we need to, when we go to sew this, we want to make sure that we know where to put our napkins in the hoop. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to be able to sew more than one of these at a time. Okay, so let me open quickly the actual design. So if you give me a second, I'm going to click the open button, go back to my desktop, and let's just open the design so you can see what I'm talking about. And let's just bring this one in. Okay, so this is the finished design. This is where we're heading. And as you can see, I have these kind of V-like lines in here. And those are going to sew on the stabilizer so you know where to put the tip of your napkin. Okay, so let's go back to our design. And we have our representation of our napkin here. I want to create the guidelines so that I can sew these in the hoop, and I want to be able to do 2 of them. Okay, so I am going to, let's zoom in a little bit. I think we might be okay. I might just go one more bump. There we go. Then I can see a little bit better. I want to get my run tool. So this needs to be stitches. So remember, the napkin right now is just an artwork. So it's not going to sew. It's just a representation for us. So I'm going to go get my run tool, which is up here at the top in the toolbar, and it looks like the backwards S. So I'm going to get my run tool. And I am going to go down here, and I'm going to start at the tip, and I want to go 1, 2 full grids, kind of like diagonally up. So I'm starting at the tip and going 1 diagonal grid, 2 diagonal grids. Okay, so I'm going to start up there. I'm going to click. I'm going to go down to the tip of the napkin. And then I want to go up 2 diagonal grids. There's 1 and 2 to make a V so that I know where to put my napkin. I'm going to left click again, and then to finish, you right click to finish your stitches. I'm going to go grab my select tool. And now if you look in the run, or in the properties box, I'm sorry, it now says run. So remember, this was a run tool, so this is actually stitches. I would like it to be the stitch length of 3, which is fine. This is just a placement line, so we don't need it to be really small or really large. 3 is good. I would like, though, to have it tie off for me so that it doesn't so it sews better and stays in the paper better, or in the stabilizer. So I am going to go to the Commands tab up here, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to tie in, basic, tie off, if I can get it, basic, like that. And then I am going to click the apply button. So now my settings are saved for that little V underneath my pumpkin. I would like to also change the color of that line, because right now it's the same color as our artwork, so I'd like to be able to see it better. So I am going to go down, it's still selected, that little piece, and I'm going to go down and right click on the number 2, and then it will change it to a pink color. So if I deselect it now, you can kind of see it's pink over that blue line, because the blue line was just a line that was going to help us make the V the right size. Okay. Then I want to go to the sequence view now. I need to look at what I've got up here for my sewing. So I'm going to go down at the bottom and click on the sequence view tab, which is the first one. And right now you can see the first thing is my artwork. If I click on the little box or the little plus, it says artwork. The second thing is the pumpkin. And the third thing is the outline. Well, that outline needs to sew before the pumpkin, doesn't it? Because we need to know where to put the napkin in the hoop. So I want to change the placement of my my little V. And Denise Walker had a question about, she was having a little trouble getting things to move in the sequence view and change the sequence order. So what the trick is, Denise, is when you grab this, so like I'm going to grab a hold of that V, I want that to sew just above the grouped pumpkin. But I need to make it, I have to set it on top of the first item, which is the napkin artwork. So I need to actually pull it up. I need to like place it on top of that and then drop it. So if you're not moving your item high enough, it will not stop there. You have to put it on top of the item that you want it below, if that makes sense. If you want something all the way to the top, you need to go all the way up to all items and then drop it there to get it to the top. So does that make sense? You need to drop the item on top of the thing you want it just above, or just below, I'm sorry. So like if I want this one to go below the napkin, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on top of that one, and then it will be right below the napkin representation. Okay, so that's the thing with the sequence view. You have to go up and you actually make it blue. So like here's my V again, and if I wanted to go above the blue square, I have to make the item blue, and it'll go right below that, like that. So that's the trick. You have to get it. That's the way you get it in the right spot. Okay. So if that's as clear as mud, I hope that helped, Denise, about that. Okay, so I want my V to be right before my pumpkin because we need it to sew out before we sew the design. Give me a second here. I need to turn my page. All right. So I now would like to make sure I've got everything in here. Whoops, I think I skipped 2 pages here. Okay. I want two of them because I want to make 2 napkins at the same time. So I have like my PR has an 8x12 or an 8x14 hoop, and I want to make 2 of these in my machine at the same time. Okay, so this is going to have to be in an 8x12 hoop, just so you know. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've got the little V selected, and it's going to sew above before the pumpkin, but I'm going to hold my control key down and I'm going to select the pumpkin also. And now I'm going to make sure I get everything. Oops, a second here. Oh, I know what I did first. I actually selected the napkin representation. I don't need that anymore. It just kind of is in the way and it's kind of large. So I went ahead over in the sequence view. I selected it by turning it blue, and then I hit delete on my keyboard. So now all I have is my V that is stitches. So I got rid of the napkin artwork just to get it out of my way. Okay, so now we're going to create the second one of these because we already know we've got it exactly where we want it from the tip of our napkin, and we have it exactly where we want it. So to make sure nothing moves on me, I am going to select both of these items. I'll get the first one, hold my control key down and get the pumpkin. And then I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to group it. So that way I know if I move this around, nothing's going to move. Everything's exactly where I want it. It's 3 inches up from the bottom. Everything's right exactly where I want it. Okay. So since it's all selected now, I'm going to go up here to the toolbar again, and I'm going to click the copy button. And then I'm going to click the paste button. So now if you look at my sequence view over here, you notice that there's 2 items now. There's 2 grouped items. It's the pumpkin with the V, and there's 2 of them. But I don't really want them to sew on top of each other. I would like them to be I want those little V's to be tip to tip. So in order to do that, all I have to do, the second one is still selected. I'm going to go up here and I want all of my napkins to be the same. So in order for that to be, if it's upside down, I need to mirror it and flip it. So I'm going to, second here, I got to get it to come up. I'm going to mirror it. because I want the napkins to look exactly the same on both sides. And then I'm going to flip it. So I mirrored it first, so they're mirror images of each other, and then I flipped it so that it is below, it's going to be below the other one. But if you notice, right now, the V's are not where I want them. I want the V's to be tip to tip. So I'm going to grab a hold of the second one here with the little X. I'm going to pull it down. And then let's to fit up here. And so see, I'm getting close. So I'm going to grab this again and I'm going to pull this down. And I'm going to, let's zoom in here again so we can see if we got these tip to tip. Here. Whoops. Went a little too far. Let's see how we did here. Okay, so they're a little off. So this one here, the top one, I'm going to grab the top one. I think I just need to bump it over a little bit with my control and my arrow key. And then this one might need to go the other way just a little bit. Okay, so now those two V's, and let's go up here, zoom to fit. Now the little V's are point to point, and I've got a pumpkin, and they're mirrored. They're mirror images of each other, and I flipped it. So then I can sew two of these at the same time. And let's go ahead and let's edit, select all. And we will right click on the ruler bar and center the origin again so that they're centered in the design area, so I have a better idea. And I had done a pretty good job of getting them centered manually, but they look really good. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to make sure, I'm pretty sure that this is going to fit in my 8x12 hoop, but just to make sure, I am going to go ahead and I can go down here to the bottom. Now my screen's really small on my computer. So down here at the bottom, there's three little polka dots and there's a hoop. And I'm going to click on the hoop and I want the Brother Baby Lock 200 by 300 hoop, which is the 8x12. So I want to make sure it fits in that and I'm going to click OK. And they do. So you can see that everything's fine in that hoop for me to do two of them in an 8x12 hoop. Okay. So I like to kind of bring the hoop up so I can make sure that I've got it at the right size. I think I'm just reading my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. So I got my little V's tip to tip. Now I'd like to be able to sew these so that I don't have to change the colors so many times. Now I did do these on my PR, so I didn't have to change the colors, but I would like them to actually sew like all the green together, all the orange together, you know, the two, I need to have, of course, the two V's need to be together. So that's why I wanted them to both be the same color. So now when I do the resequence, so we can resequence by color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Edit and Resequence by color. And then in a second here, if you look at the sequence view now, it's going to do my two V's or my placement lines, and then it's going to sew color number 523 and then 533 and then 512 and then 514 and so on. So the color numbers, just so you know, that are in these designs, these are old ones, so these will come up in the Floriani colors. So all of these colors are Floriani. And so the colors that I used in mine were the exact colors that came up in the designs because they set the colors in the design that is in the software. So that's what I used, was the colors it called for. They were pretty good and I thought they turned out really well. So I just used the colors they said. And then down here at the bottom, I like to be able to see, you know, like just how many colors I need, just so I have an idea. And to get rid of all the colors we're not using on the screen here, if you just go down to the bottom, where this negative sign, this red negative sign is, if I just click that, all of the colors that are not used will disappear. So I'm just going to click that. And now I only have 10 colors in the design. So the first one is that pink, which was the V's for my placement lines. And then the rest of them are the colors that I need to use for my design. Okay. So that is now digitized. I mean, we've got it all ready to sew it. In order to sew it, obviously we need to do a couple things. Denise had a question. When I did my vertical flip, it only flipped the pumpkin and they were grouped. Oh, they must not have been grouped, Denise. If they aren't grouped, they won't flip together. So make sure that the V and the pumpkin were grouped together. Because the V really doesn't look like it flipped anyway, because the V, but yeah, so you must not have had it grouped. Make sure you chose the right two pieces. You must not have had it grouped, because it should all flip at the same time. Okay, so now I am going to save this. We need to save it so that we can use it. I'm going to go File, Save As. Now I want to use, I'm going to call it Pumpkin Napkin. Oops, stuff I can't spell tonight. Pumpkin, there we go, napkin. And I'm going to put this on my desktop. And I want to save it as a C2S because that's my working file. So if I need to go back in later and like maybe put something else in there, like a Christmas design or something like that, I don't have to start over. I can just use what's already there. So I'm going to save that on my desktop. And now I want to be able to put it in my sewing machine. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and then I'm going to save it as Pumpkin Napkin, but down here as the Save As type, I'm going to go ahead and use, depending on what you're using, did mine on my PR, so I use the Brother Baby Lock Multi-Needle version 9 design, and what it does is instead of having it be up and down, vertical, it flips it horizontal because my hoops go in my machine horizontally. So I use that one. But if you're going to use your home machine, just choose Brother Baby Lock PES version 9 and then click Save. And I'm going to save that one on my desktop too. And now we're ready to stitch. So I don't have like a video of the stitching, but I'll just explain to you what I did. It's very simple to stitch these. I purchased napkins. Actually, Judy purchased napkins and gave me two to use. So they were 20 inches by 20 inches. They were all pre-done. You can make your own napkins like with your serger or whatever you want to do, but she just had some napkins that I could use. And you're going to hoop some of the sticky stabilizer. If you're using Floriani, it's Perfect Stick. And if you're using the dime, it's Peel and Stick. So it's the tacky tearaway stabilizer. I'm gonna hoop that in my hoop, and with the paper side up, and then I can score it open and pull the paper off so that I have a tacky surface. Okay. I want to press and starch my napkins. I like to use a little spray starch on my napkins so that they're nice and smooth and not wrinkled. I'm going to put the threads on the machine, or in my case, the 10 needle, I put them all up there at the same time. I want to go ahead and stitch out step number 1, which is those V's, and it's going to stitch out both of them, because we can put both napkins in at the same time. So I want it to stop after the V's. And then I'm going to lay my napkins along those little V's, the tip of my napkin, one of the corners, in that little V. And then I know that my pumpkins are going to sew exactly where I want them on the corner. And if I make 12 of these, they're all going to be exactly the same. Okay. And then you just stitch out the rest of the pumpkin. After you get your napkin in there on your little V, just stitch out the pumpkin and you'll have 2 napkins. And so napkins are really fun and they're nice gifts for people. And a lot of people are using cloth napkins now. You know, they're handy. You can throw them in the washing machine, and they look very elegant, and you can make them seasonal. So, okay, that is our napkins. Wasn't that fun? That was one of my favorite classes that Kathy did all those years ago. And the designs are so cute. And if you look through some of these designs, so let's go through some of these other designs. I'm going to click on this. There are so many cute designs in here. And I just kind of went through and looked at some of these old designs again, and they're just adorable. There's Christmas designs, there's Valentine designs, there's Halloween designs. So enjoy the designs. I figured that would be a way that you could all have as many as I had. And I was able to get some of these back because one of you had software from a long time ago, and I was able to get them. So it was nice to be able to get some of those old designs back because they were great. And then you can just use them right out of the software. You know, I just go in and find the one I want. Let's say I want to go to August of 2011, and oh, these suns were so cool, so I can just grab a sun, and we could have a napkin with a sun on it. And you can resize these, and there's just so many things you can do with them. And they were all, you know, they're all done. All you have to do is you can make all kinds of things with these. Okay, so are there any questions? Did this make sense? Was this an easy project to try? I'm anxious to see your napkins. Is everybody going to make fall or Halloween or Christmas napkins? I enjoyed getting this one ready because I hadn't done these for a long time, and they were really fun. It's hard to find nice fall things, so it's fun if you can make some things for yourself. So, okay. So next week is the first week. We're going to do the Grateful Heart, the Janine Babish Grateful Heart wall hanging. And I'm going to minimize this for a second. And here is the picture of the wall hanging. So if you haven't seen it, the design is up on the website. It's called With a Grateful Heart, or Grateful Heart is what it's called, wall hanging. And we're going to make this, and then that stand that it's sitting on. Is there a way to do a search? No, there's not, Mitzi. I think they originally, years ago, they had like a PDF file that had all the designs kind of in alphabetical order or something, but there's really no way to search them. You have to kind of just go look through the designs. They are rather seasonal. So if you're looking for a Valentine's Day design, if you go to January or February, it'll probably be in one of those. So, but no, there's no way to search it. But here is the Grateful Heart wall hanging. It's 12 by 14. And I also have these stands up on the website. So if you want to stand for it, those are up there. The design CD is up there. And I also have some new wall frames that are like to hang it up on the wall. And those are, I can't remember if I got those up there yet. I've got them in the store. So if anybody wants to hang their wall hanging up on the wall instead, call me. I've got some 12-inch wall things too. I need to put a couple things up on the website this week. But the design is there, so if you need the design. These are really fun to do. Next week we'll do the embroidery part of it, and I'll talk a little bit about the embroidery and the stabilizers, and we'll do the embroidery. And then on the 18th, which is the next Sunday, we will do the assembly, and I'll show you how to assemble it. I had a little difficulty with this, keeping it from getting wrinkled, because Janine does not use quilting. She uses fusible fleece and so on. So I had a little trouble. I had to do a little manipulating so that it wouldn't look wrinkly. So that's what we're going to do next week. And then the last week in October, we're going to talk about that roll feeder for the scan and cut, and also the vinyl blade. So that's what I was doing today, was I was cutting out things with my roll feeder. So I did Mickey and Minnie here on my roll feeder. That was really fun. Those were designs that come with the, so if you have a scan and cut, the Disney one, these are on the Disney scan and cut. And there's actually quite a few of them. And then this was the free one that came with the design. this flower design. So we may cut out this. Actually, I think I'm going to make my own. I thought I'd make a welcome sign. So I'm going to do a little video about how to do a simple sign in the software, and we'll do a welcome sign, I think. So, okay. And that'll be the last week in October then. And then I also been working on Ginger's Kitchen. And so Ginger's Kitchen will be in November. There'll be another software class on November. I got to get the date here. The next software class will be November 8th. And then the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th, we'll be working on Ginger's Kitchen, which is the bench pillow, the Christmas bench pillow that goes with We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And it's so cute. I've got all the blocks done. I'm ready to do the pieced blocks, and then I'm going to start putting it together. So, okay. So if there's any questions, text me through Facebook or call me at the store, and I will see you next week for Grateful Heart. And I'm really excited about doing it. It's really pretty. And that was a brand new one that Janine just came out with about maybe 6 weeks ago it came out. So anyway, I will see you all soon. And thank you very much for spending an hour or so with me this evening. Have a good evening. Bye.